Mhm.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. We are back again. Another week.
Another week.
Yeah.
Well, another week and a big week at that.
It is a big week, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
already started. Hey?
that's right. So, in
Yeah.
case you may have forgotten, I'm Julie,
I'm Sabine.
and we're really excited to provide another update about what's happening astrologically and
Mm.
then, some guidance based on our own experiences,
Yeah.
which hopefully will help you on your journey. And I know that sometimes we do have a lot of information because we're obviously channeling it and we get excited. So don't don't get too into your heads about trying to remember everything because naturally you will absorb or take on what you need to. So just allow information to settle within you.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
So what's happening astrologically at the moment?
Yeah, it's also I always find it interesting when we do podcasts because it's usually some massive changes on the day, isn't it? And
And
like
we've been feeling it
exactly,
happening.
been feeling it, navigating through it, going through all the technical issues for an hour,
Oh,
whatever.
as we speak.
Exactly. So yeah, today Mercury is stationing today on the what's today, the 18th of July, and Mercury is about to go retrograde, seemingly moving backwards for the next 3 weeks, which happens 3 times a year. Plus, well, we have shadow phase as well, 2 weeks
Mm,
prior and 2 weeks post Mercury retrograde. So what it all means, we're in a time where well, let's start with, well, I feel often that Mercury retrogrades get a really bad rap where I think, oh,
so
Mercury
true.
retrograde again and things gonna go wrong and I'm gonna miss my flight or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
That's one side to it. But for me, I feel Mercury retrogrades, I see them as a beautiful invitation to go within.
Mm,
And this Mercury retrograde, so today, while Mercury is stationing, there's an invitation to slow down.
mm,
And I feel as humans, we don't like that very much, slowing down,
so true.
as we are used to move on and push things through and have one project after the other. But we're really, over the next 3 weeks, particularly Mercury in Leo, in a fire sign, the fire sign of the heart, I feel it's an invitation to connect. Mercury rules the mind and Leo rules the heart. So
Mm,
really dropping into the heart, connecting, yeah, with that, the beautiful warmth of our heart, that inner guidance, rather than being too much in our heads, which we all tend to.
mm.
But yeah, it's a beautiful time to prepare, to revisit things, readjust, and get ready then for the time when Mercury goes direct mid-August and putting those projects into more action and gaining momentum. So
Wow.
we're in that bubble, it's happening.
I love that a lot. Yeah, because I do believe that Mercury retrograde gets a bad rap
Mm,
and it's not the case. I
mm,
mean, this is again where we're being asked to step into our power, I feel,
yes.
instead of whatever has been told in terms of
Mhm.
astrology, this is the way it should be, or this is, that sort of fear factor.
Yeah.
It's like, well, actually, we can again create a different space with this period and like you say
Mhm.
use it as a review period,
Yes.
to slow down and really look after ourselves or
Mhm.
review the things that are maybe not working as well as they could be in our
Yeah.
lives.
So
Mm,
true. I love that. And
mm,
I feel we all feeling the energies, and I find it's beautiful that we all are going through those changes, and it creates, I feel like, another invitation to be more compassionate with
mm,
ourselves and with each other as we all moving through changes very uniquely and
yeah.
individuated, really. And but yeah, and certainly, yeah, sometimes we can feel the frustration or when things don't go towards plan or what
Mm,
we thought how things should work out or should unfold. And especially then in the next 3 weeks where there might be more detours, more changes to our plans, I feel
mm,
there is a trigger there, hey? And Yeah, and I feel, what do you think? Like, how can we be more comfortable within the discomfort? I'm even losing my
That's
throat
affecting.
chakra. It's affecting me. Mercury rules the throat chakra.
I think that's a
There you
really,
go.
yeah, I think that's such a
Yeah.
great point because
Mm,
you know, that's the thing, like when it's our mind that's saying, oh, it's not working out as I had planned, it's not
mm,
going, our mind has this certain and I'm not saying the mind's a bad thing at all, it's just more that our heart needs to be the guider, the guidance, or the guide really.
mm,
And when we let our minds determine whether something's successful or not, then
mm,
we move out of alignment, because ultimately whatever happens is happening for our highest good, even though initially it might not seem that way. And I've had many events this week where I've been like, no, and then it's like, oh, actually, it's worked out for the best. So, you know, it's really it's that trust as well. And I think you know, going back to your question, how can we be comfortable with the discomfort? I feel like maybe this is my own personal experience, is just feeling whatever's happening. I journal a
mm,
lot as well. So whenever something comes up which
mm,
really upsets me, or, you know, I journal, and that's a way for it to kind of release. But the way uh to, you know, is through
mm.
that's how I feel it is. You can't,
Yes,
if you try and avoid it, then it's just always in the background.
yes, so
You
true.
never fully deal with it. So
Yeah.
I would say, like, move through
Mm,
it, through being present, feeling it all. And that's just how, you know, all of the stuff that we're experiencing is just releasing through us, through, without being caught up in the mind, or, you know,
mm,
letting it get stuck in ourselves, just allowing it
yes.
to, yeah, move.
Yeah, I love that. Beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, because that's the thing often, hey, yeah, if we don't move it, it gets, yeah, contained somewhere, and it's always sitting there uncomfortably,
Yeah,
and
stagnant.
yeah.
Mm.
And I also find often when things happen that are out of our control, which a lot of things are really, well,
Mm.
I mean, we're really, I find like we're only in control of how we respond to life,
That's
how we
it.
respond to what happens, eh?
Yes.
And I often find, like, just for myself, a little example, just yesterday I found out from through my landlord that I have to move out,
Mm-mm.
unfortunately, where I live in about
Mm.
4 weeks' time. And so there is, of course, I feel like when we're confronted with something uncomfortable and with change that is not chosen, uh, I go through stages. First, there is a reaction. It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
there's that reactive phase, or that
Mm.
immediate, like, oh my goodness, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is, as you say, like the mind is kicking in, of course, where there is, and as you say, I mean, the mind is not a bad thing, but I also feel the mind is a great trickster.
Mm, it is.
It's
Yes.
just like Mercury, the messenger god, where I feel like, because then my mind comes in often, and it brings up past scenarios and
Yes.
connects them with, through a wave of anxiety, how the future is going to work out because of my past experiences.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it's big, isn't it?
It's
And
so
it's like,
big.
I also then been finding, okay, if I can allow myself through to go through all these stages, maybe the initial shock, then maybe I have a cry, then my mind comes in, fuck, what am I gonna do now? And then boom, boom, boom. But then I feel when we can detach a bit, hey,
Mm.
and there is a big bubble of calmness that then comes in, as you said, when we can be present
Yeah.
and move it through our being and allowing ourselves to move it through.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I just love, yeah, talking about these things, because it's
Mm.
so relevant, I feel, where there's for a lot of us so much change
Yeah.
permanently, and yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
I really appreciate that example, because
mm,
you know, that's the reality of now, and it makes me sort of what comes to mind is that we're moving into a different reality where it's not
mm,
about that old idea of control and
yeah,
stability, because the
Yeah.
stability is not out there, it's within
Yeah.
us.
I love it. That's great.
And that's the only thing we can do is
Yeah.
know that everything is unfolding as it's meant to,
Yeah.
and that we can handle whatever comes our way.
Mm.
So that's a Susan Jeffer. She wrote Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that came out of that was, we fear change because we feel like we can't handle it. We're going to
Yeah.
lose control and it's all going to go very badly. But
Yes.
the point is everything will just unfold as it's meant to, and the more that
Mm.
we know that we can handle that, then the more ease will come into it,
Yeah.
and coming back into our heart space, because
Mm.
we're no longer allowing the mind to direct us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's
Mm.
really then to do with the strengthening of self, how we can come into that inner sovereignty where we feel strong. And I feel like I have a good stance within myself where I'm, even when change happens, that I'm not swayed, that I'm not at the outside of the wheel whirling around, at least not for too long, where I can come more in the center, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's then really the art of really being present, and I guess also then putting all our tools into practice. And we were just talking about that the other day, like
Yes.
how can we really practice something and not just talk about it?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
so hard. It's challenging, man.
It'd be so easy for us to be able to say that to you without having experienced it
Mm,
ourselves, but the reality is that we're experiencing it as well. Hence, we share what we're
mm,
experiencing to hopefully help you on your journey.
mm.
Because we know that it's not an easy one, but we're all learning
Yeah.
at the moment. And I feel like we both feel it's about the empowerment also,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah, very much.
We're coming into our own power, and then
Mm.
that is us creating what we want, and not necessarily in the way the mind thinks, but just more that from our heart space, what is it that we really want?
Yeah.
And then that can unfold
Mm.
naturally and with love.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
beautiful. And I had this revelation, then also I thought, okay, whatever the universe is, it's out of my control anyway. And if I'm presented with something, there is a bigger plan there, isn't it?
Completely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where I find then often we know it in hindsight, but as we're moving through, there's so much of that forcefulness coming through that wants something a particular way, or feeling that I'm going to miss out, or something is removed that should be there.
Mm.
But then how can, yeah, I feel like, yeah, how can we develop more of that inner trust that, okay, if something is taken away, the universe removes something, or I lose a job or whatever it is, to feel that, yeah, it's actually for my greatest good.
Mm.
And yeah.
I find that interesting, yeah,
Mm,
because it's almost like we go into that feeling of lack,
mm-hmm,
and that fear of like, oh, so we settle for a lot of things which really um aren't always for our highest good. And
mm,
so the more that we allow the things that no longer resonate with us to
mm,
leave, then we open up space. And when we have space, or empty space, there's always something that fills it up, and
mm-hmm.
that's just kind of a universal law, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
whatever
yes,
is empty gets filled up.
yeah,
I mean, the technicalities I don't know, but I know from my own experience. I
mm,
mean, like, yeah, we're constantly opening one space up and then it gets
yeah,
filled up, and we can't fill something up. It's like you can't open a new door if one is solidly shut. So
mm-hmm.
you've got to kind of let old things go in order to open up new things.
Yeah,
And
I
it's a
love that.
process and
Yeah,
journey.
beautiful. And especially I feel the times we're in now where there is so much change and nothing is really based upon how it used to be or the old ways. And I find the same with astrology, because a lot of astrologers, as soon as a planet, let's say like Jupiter, comes back every 12 years, it's the same themes, the same thing is going to happen like 12 years ago or whatever in history. When planets, what happened then when, like, Uranus 85 years ago was in the sign of Gemini. Yes, there was a lot of things happening, big things, big events, but then I don't think anything is going to repeat itself. I really feel like we are really at a time where we are so more starting to get more and more connected with a greater way of being to really create our reality more and more.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Which also requires so much letting go as well, I feel, and discernment, and yeah,
I
it's
completely.
big.
Yeah. So much
Yeah.
like it's
Mm-hmm.
dynamic, and
Yeah.
part of our process is letting go of all the old conditioning, because
Mm.
that's what keeps us repeating our old patterns and all
Yeah.
the things that we don't want. So,
Yeah.
the more that we can move through the letting go process, and knowing that we're safe, and that,
Mm.
it's going to unfold in its highest, and which it always is. It's just like you said, when you look in retrospect,
Yeah.
we know that it's working out, but at the time it obviously feels destabilizing.
Mm.
And it's important to have those around you who can
Mm.
support you through that, and to support yourself through that,
Yeah.
what self-care measures and things like
Yeah,
that. Mm,
beautiful. And yeah, especially the self-care that you mentioned now with the sun through Cancer and the last degrees,
yeah.
very much the self-care. And also what's happening this week is there's some tense aspects around with Chiron. So there's a lot of old wounds that might come up, that might bubble up. And there's a lot of fire tension as well. We have Mercury in Leo, fiery. We got Chiron in Aries, a lot of fire. So I feel like maybe a lot of us, there can be like suppressed, something that's been suppressing us. There could be anger arising, resentments of dreams yet unlived, or how do you feel like, how can we move best through, I don't know, this acknowledgement of anger,
Mm.
rage? Because I feel there is a lot that's under the surface.
Well, yes, and
Yeah,
that speaks for depression as well. Like,
exactly.
when you're not
Yeah.
allowing yourself to tune into that, your anger, or
Mm,
where, I think there's this idea that, as we move through our emotions, it looks pretty, or I don't know, there's a
mm,
view of how it should look, and
yeah.
it's not pretty. It can actually look, but it's not really about how it looks either. It's just allowing yourself to feel it all, whether it is anger or
Mm.
rage, and it's about not hurting other people in that process, because you don't need to. But, Louise Hay used to say, punch a pillow, or, get a pillow and just scream into it. Or,
Mm,
there's
mm,
ways of
mm,
which we can release our anger or whatever we might be feeling, without necessarily impinging on other
mm,
people.
mm,
So yeah, I really feel like, yeah, like that fire energy is coming up for a reason, like you say,
exactly.
and we just
Yeah.
have to treat it like every other there's certain accepted emotions, and allowing us to be whatever we are,
Mm,
because that leads to that self-love as well.
yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Mm.
because I guess in our Western society, there's so much repression of denial of death, denial of,
Oh,
we're in this
yes.
this happiness trap in a
Yeah.
way, isn't
Yeah.
it? And as soon as we feel anger or something, I don't feel that, and don't. But as you say, not hurting someone else, obviously, but to
Mm.
really move it through the body, what however we feel, and allowing that rage or whatever wants to come up. And
Yeah.
yes,
I
mm,
Sorry, just as you were
yeah,
just speaking just now,
mm,
we have such an anxious society at the moment.
mm,
And anxiety, I feel, is like there are a lot of energies happening,
mm,
like
mm,
astrologically, also the sun, which,
yeah,
does create anxiety
yes,
within us.
yeah.
But I also feel that when we go into the mind, that's where the anxiety goes as well. Like, that's where
Mm.
the anxiety is created from.
Yeah, yeah,
And so that's where I feel like it's really important to come out of the mind and back into our bodies, and then
yes.
allow ourselves to feel.
Mm,
Then the mind doesn't get so engaged. It's like, for me, I see it as this energy that, with our energy is just cycling
mm,
in the head space, rather than being evenly distributed through the body.
yeah,
And so that's where all the anxiety and fears go.
yes,
So
yeah.
it's finding a practice that allows you to, maybe it's self
Mm,
massage,
mm,
yoga,
yes,
um, anything that keeps you present here.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's great. I love that. That full embodiment and feeling,
Mm.
and yeah. And I also found, like, for example, with how to move through discomfort with greater comfort. I did a training in a breathwork teacher training and also cold water exposure. And I often found like the cold water exposure, and we, even when we have a shower in the morning and we can have like a minute of cold again, which is such a challenge, but I feel like it's almost like a forced mindfulness. You gotta be present, and you just focus on the breath and there's nothing else.
And it resets you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I found that really like as a metaphor for, okay, I'm moving through the discomfort. I know I can do it, and I'm present while I'm doing it, even if it's, feels uncomfortable, but yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
We've been doing our cold water or swimming at the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
In winter.
I know, every morning.
It's been so good.
Exactly.
Really helpful. So it works.
It
definitely.
does work. Yeah, a couple of whales popping out in the background.
How
We're
lucky we are.
Exactly. Shall we do some cards? Hey, Julie, do some cards for us. Thank you.
Let's try. I'll try and get them in the camera properly.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
Let's see.
Hopefully.
Yeah. See
Very good.
Oh,
Ready?
and I'm just going to see. Oops. Yeah. Right. So we've got at the bottom of the deck, and I'll try. We've got the 10 of Pentacles there. I'm sorry if you can't see it. A bit blurry. Yeah.
We'll put a photo
We'll
up
put a
later.
photo. Yeah. And basically, this is about abundance and like really living the lives that we're meant to be living. So, it's got a name. Hello there. Yeah, it's just about living in that abundance, and that's how we're meant to be living. You know, we're meant to be thriving in this world, and it might feel very uncomfortable at the moment, but it's because we're going through that process of really peeling the onion, getting to our core. And so, like we've talked about, it's not always pretty. And the first card that popped up is the Page of Cups, which hopefully you can kind of vaguely see. And this is about, you know, new beginnings in our emotions, and finding what message I'm hearing is like finding out what really gives us joy, because we've been told, you know, for so long that, you know, money is important, or, you know, whatever it is. And we know that there's more to life than all of that. And when we come from that place of love and joy for what we want, then that just keeps on, you know, continuing. And it's interesting because what came next was the Seven of Swords and then the King of Pentacles. And so the Seven of Swords is about taking away, for me anyway, taking away all of those beliefs that don't serve us anymore and don't help us to be in this place of, like, the King of Pentacles is very abundant, very stable, very solid. And the more that we know that we're creating what we want and not getting to the old beliefs of, if I don't do this, I'm not going to have enough. You know, if we go into the knowing of we always have enough, we always have what we need there, then it allows us to really live life from a place of abundance quite naturally. And then we have the Justice, which is a major arcana. And the Justice card is about balance. And I think that's where we're heading now, you know, as a collective, to a more balanced place where we're speaking our truth. We're tuning into our intuition. I know it's a bit blurry here, but he's got like a little spot just in his third eye. And for me, that's always about coming from that intuitive spark, listening to your own self. And there's a sword there, which again you can't see, but it is about coming from that place of really speaking your truth. And Mercury going retrograde is asking us to review all of that. But yeah, it's about moving into a more balanced place for all of us. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, overall it looks positive. It always is, but you know.
That's good.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I really like that, and I love the abundance. When, as you mentioned, that we are abundant beings, and there is always plenty. And I feel like, as a metaphor, we can always look at nature. There's plenty. Like, I'm just looking out here. There's this huge tree with lemons, and they're falling down because no one's pick them or whatever. And I feel there's abundance, and
More than enough,
it's
isn't it?
more than enough.
Yeah.
And there's so much for us, and we're so looked after. Yeah,
Yeah, that's so affirming. I
yeah,
love
it
that.
is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, I
All
love this
right, yeah,
again.
same.
Oh, well, thanks
Yeah.
everyone for
Mm.
listening to us. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Julie. Beautiful. Thank you. And yeah, we'll be back with some more insights next week. And we're also aiming to run some little workshops. And more than anything, we love to hear from you. If you have any, if you want to share how you've been navigating through these times, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And yeah, because we all walk each other home, eh?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Do reach out. That
Yeah.
would be super, really, really nice. All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.